Okay, I think it works now. For reasons I'm unclear on, OBS decided, hey, you know what? That thing that you've had set up forever, that, here's your microphone device. Yeah, we're going to change that to a thing that you've never had it set on before because why wouldn't we? I think actually what happened was, so the way I've got my computer set up here on the desk, I've got my laptop here on kind of a little stand, and then here I've got my spare monitor, right? And I actually, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, I actually have two machines, which those of you who've come and seen us at PAX South or PAX East saw last year, which are the cheap, crappy, sort of all-in-one computers that we were playing Legends of Kalasia on. And I actually had given those to the kids to hang out with, when I'm not at game conventions. And we had a big discussion in the family, and we decided that, you know what, we should not let the kids have computers in their rooms because they sit around and watch YouTube videos all day. So I took the computers out of the kids' rooms. I didn't have anything better to do with them. So one of them is now my third monitor. It's sitting right here. And it's got a little button in the back which switches it from being a computer to being a spare monitor, which I think is actually really cool. It's a nice feature. But when I did that, when I plugged that new monitor in, it reset a bunch of my sound stuff, and I thought I had it all fixed. I thought I'd gone and changed everything, but apparently one of the things that it changed was the default microphone in OBS. Why? Computers. That's how computers work. That's what happens. Anyway, so yeah, crappy computer here. We'll talk more about the crappy computer here in a minute because there were issues. Let's see here. Well, I have a list of things. Right? I have lists, right? You guys are making fun of me because my microphone didn't work, and you're like, Chris doesn't read. I have a list right here. I have a list of things to talk about today, right here. For the record, I didn't make the list. Half of it was made by Nelson. Thanks, Nelson. But anyway, I have a list of things to talk about. I'm going to talk about the game here in a minute. Before that, I want to talk about some other stuff. First of all, though, I want to thank everybody for showing up. We got a big turnout. I'll run through the chat log. We got Merlin, we got Halfwing, we have Maple. Who else is here? Going back, we had a whole bunch of people here. I saw Zubat earlier. We got Mom Spaghetti Games. We've got of course, we got Nelson and we got Monica. Hi, Nelson and Monica. We got all kinds of people in the chat. So thanks for showing up, everybody. It's always nice to have you guys come along. Hey, there's Silent One, Fluffy, whatever we want to call her today. So thanks for everyone for showing up. Hey, how's it going? I should wave where you could see my hand, not over here. Oh wait, I'll wave here. Ooh. Okay. Oh, and hello, Ben. So, things I want to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about why is the stream so silent? In earlier streams, I was playing background music of classical music because I really like it and I thought it was nice. And for anyone who's ever streamed before or thought about streaming before, it's weird to be in a quiet room for a really long time because it makes all of those moments when you're not actually talking really creepy and weird. And I'm one of those people that's like really upset by silences. And people know I talk a lot, right? Even in not just in stream, but in real life, I talk a lot, right? And part of the reason I talk a lot is I'm really uncomfortable. I get really nervous when things are quiet. And so I thought maybe having some music in the background might be a little nice for, me to not be all stressed out of, oh my God, there's like 5 seconds of silence. What do I do? And so I thought that would be nice. The problem is we've been using these live streams as food for Monica to make YouTube videos and things like that. And when she's doing her editing and cutting and changing things, she has to edit and cut and the music pops around. And she yelled at me and she said, hey, can you not have the music on while you're doing your live stream so that when I do my edits, there's not this obvious background music that sucks. So there will be no background music for the live streams. I'm sorry about that. What I might do is turn the background music back on for the gameplay part of the live stream. So like when I'm just playing games and it's quiet and it's me like boring staring at a screen. Now at some point I will put the music to the game in the live stream and that will be great, but the game doesn't have any music yet, so what can I do? That's why I've been playing classical music. So there's all that. I was also told by Monica, apparently I end every bit of what I'm talking about with the phrase, so there's that. So apparently whenever she's editing anything, everything ends with, so there's that. So that, I don't know if that's cool. I don't know if it's like a catchphrase, like, so there's that. Or I don't know, that's like, wow, that guy's really lame. He says the same shit all the time. I don't know which one of those two things it is. It's one of those two things. So there's that. Anyway, next thing I wanted to talk about. This is actually not related to the game at all, but it's interesting. I realized the other day that I've been doing development live streams, whether for Last Regiment or for Legends of Kalesia, a while now, like 2 years now. And, obviously I haven't been streaming like, Alara streams at like X times a week. And, I haven't put in the hours that a real live streamer has, but I have actually put in the years of, having been around and been involved in live streaming for a while. And it's a little bit sad. I've been watching, there are people that I was watching, I actually, when I started live streaming, I didn't know anything about let's be honest, I still know fuck all about live streaming, but I really didn't know anything about live streaming when I started. And I had to actually go educate myself, what do live streamers do? And so I went and I found what I thought was good live streamers and went and watched and saw what they did. And what was funny was when I started watching live streamers and what I thought were good live streamers, when I very first started, I didn't know what a good live streamer was. So I was like, I'll go find popular live streamers. And so I went and I watched the people who had lots and lots of viewers, and I was bored off my tits. I was like, holy crap, how do people watch this boring crap? It's just some irritating pretty boy or pretty girl in front of a camera saying thank you to their chat and thank you for your donation. And I was like, what? I don't get this. And that's what big live streams still are today. It's just the chat stream is just, and the person is like, thank you for your, and you're just like, why? Anyway, I hate that. And I was not into that. And so I started looking for smaller streams, and I suddenly found a lot of what I thought were really interesting streams. People who were streaming games, or they're streaming in real life, and they're personalities, right? And they weren't personalities like personalities. They weren't like a person who was like, I'm going to put on my personality and be the stream person I'm supposed to be. They were people who were genuinely interesting people that were, talking about being gamers and talking about the gaming life. And I found, some really interesting streamers, and some that I, lurk in, some I watch infrequently, but I kind of started enjoying watching streams. And over the last, I guess Monica says we've been doing this 21 months. Over the last 21 months, I've watched a lot of those streamers stop. And it to me, it's indicative of a larger problem, which is this thing, Twitch, or you pick the other live streaming services, or YouTube, or any of this. These are big businesses. These are big, huge businesses that make a metric fuck ton of money. Twitch sold to Amazon for I don't even know how much money. More money than God, right? And in providing this thing, all Twitch or YouTube or any of these other services doing is they're providing the platform. They're not actually providing the content. YouTube largely doesn't make content. Twitch largely doesn't make content. They organize content, they do stuff, but the majority of the entertainment that exists on these networks comes from people who don't earn shit, right? I mean, sure, there are some streamers that earn a lot of money. There are certainly YouTubers that earn a lot of money, but this is largely the exception. The vast majority, the bulk of people that are out on Twitch streaming right now don't earn anything, and they put in a hell of a lot of time to not earn anything. I mean, way more time than most people would put into a part-time job. Some people more time than they put into a full-time job. I mean, there are streamers, average streamers. I'm not talking about top of the middle. I'm not talking about crazy, weird streamers. I'm just talking about normal streamers that are putting 20, 30 hours a week into this. And they're getting not a lot of financial gain for their 20 or 30 hours a week. And so you ask, well, why do these guys do it? What's the point to them? Now, I obviously have a really good reason for streaming. I got this game, and I want to sell you this game. I mean, I've been as upfront about this as I can be. I mean, I'm not streaming because I love streaming. I'm streaming because I got this game, and I'm trying to get people to get involved in the game and get in. And I have an ulterior motive. And so for me, if I don't make any money streaming, not my problem. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me, because this is the point. The game thing is the point, not me, right? So I don't care. But there are a lot of people out there who I think have streamer dreams, and they hope to be somebody big, and they hope to make money at this. And I think for most people, honestly, that's a very unrealistic expectation. But there are other people that are putting a lot of time into this that I think they're realistic, and they know they're not going to make a living at this. They know this is not going to be their career, but they do hope that they can grow their stream and they can become somebody that people care about, and they can make this into something important. And I've watched over the last 21 months, I guess, a lot of those people fall away and get disenchanted and just say, hey, I've been doing this, I'm putting in, and for anyone who's never streamed, this is way harder than it looks. Like, you have to plan everything out. You have to get everything set up. You have to plan, okay, this is the time I'm going to do it. And I'm a shitty streamer, right? I'm on every metric. I'm a shitty streamer, right? I skip streams. I only stream once every 2 weeks if I'm doing good. When I do stream, come on, this is not that entertaining, right? I'm not a great streamer. There are people that are putting a lot more time, a lot more energy into this. And it's very difficult. I have a lot of respect now for people who stream. That stream well. And a lot of them are just getting disenchanted, and they're saying, enough of this. And I read an article my nose itches, and I want to scratch my nose, and I don't, this is streaming, right? You're like, I'm streaming and my nose itches, but I don't want to look like I'm picking my nose, but my nose itches, and I gotta, anyway, this is the pain of streaming. Anyway, the point I'm getting to, I swear there's a point. I was reading an article last night about Uber and the turnover of Uber, and the fact that after 1 year, only 10% of all Uber drivers are still Uber drivers. Like, nobody lasts, only 10% of the Uber drivers last more than a year. That's pretty telling as to the business model of Uber. This business is chewing people up and spitting them out and bringing in more people. And in fact, one of the largest expenses that the organization of Uber has is getting new Uber drivers, because being an Uber driver is such a shitty gig that you have to constantly be bringing in more and more and more Uber drivers, because, what can you do, right? As Merlin says in chat, Uber drivers typically make minimum wage after wear and tear and gas and all that. So it's not nearly the amazing experience that people thought that it would be. But Uber's making a lot of money. Right? And we could talk the same thing about Airbnb. We could talk the same. There's a whole bunch of these platform businesses. And this is the point of this, you could say the same thing about Steam. The vast majority of people who are making games for Steam fail. And that's just a fact, right? I mean, and I'm not talking like, over 50%. I'm talking like 95% of the people who put a game on Steam lose money on the game that they put out on Steam. And you can say, oh, well, a lot of those people are just doing it for the art, or they're doing it for the experience, or, they didn't expect to make money on that. You can't continue an industry with a business model where the developers of the product can't make money. And whether you want to talk about Steam, or whether you want to talk about the App Store, or, the Google App Store, or the Apple App Store, all of these businesses, and this I lump in Twitch, are based on content providers providing a huge amount of content, losing time and money while they produce that content, eventually burning out and being replaced with other people who have dreams that they can make money at this. And you can go to Uber, you can go to Airbnb, you can go to Twitch, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Steam, you can go to iTunes, you can go to any part of this new economy. And you find that all of these new economies, the new economy is built around the idea of building a platform, owning the marketing of that platform, then convincing a bunch of tools to come in and provide content for your platform, essentially for free. And you only really have to spend money convincing people to do that, because you know that they're going to rise up, and either a very small percentage of them are going to do well enough to sell the business to the punters, or they're going to fail and drop out and have to be replaced with more. I've been watching streamers, people that I have gotten to know and chatted with in chat, and watched them fail, and in various degrees of what you would call fail, whether it was, they didn't make the money that they thought they were going to make, they didn't increase their audience the way they did, or in some cases they just got disenchanted with their audience, and they were like, oh God, I keep streaming to these people and they just don't appreciate what I'm doing, and I can't take it anymore, and I'm out. It's been kind of sad for me, to be honest. And I wonder, when we talk about Twitch, does this exist in 5 years? Does it exist in 3 years? What does Twitch look like 3 years from now? I don't know if it's the same thing that it is right now. I don't know that live streaming is the same thing that it is right now. And I don't know. It's a real question. It's a thing I've been wondering lately. I'm going to keep live streaming sort of in the way that we're doing now. And I'm hoping in the future to up the live streaming schedule as we have more content and I can play more games and get more involved. I would like to. Probably after Christmas, I'm going to up this to a once-a-week schedule as we get more, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But in terms of live streaming as, oh my God, this is the future of entertainment, I'm not sure I 100% buy into this is the future of entertainment, because like a lot of entertainment right now, I just don't know if it's tenable over the long run. Now, obviously, there's some notes over in chat. Some people are saying that some streamers are putting in 80 hours a week and getting nothing out of it. And I think that's not an exception. I think there are a lot of people putting in easily 80 hours a week. And some of those people are putting in 80 hours a week and just playing video games and staring at a screen, and obviously they're not getting anywhere. But there are people that are putting in 80 hours of hard work a week and trying to make a good stream, and they're not getting anywhere either. And I think this is hard. Another note over in chat, people have been talking about this ever since Twitch bought Justin TV, which is true. I mean, there's always been a question of can this live streaming thing continue? And I think it's going to morph. I think it's going to change. I think people are going to have to come to a better realization that this isn't really a business. This is an entertainment, and making the live streams is as much an entertainment as watching the live streams, and we're just going to see this as a form of entertainment. I don't know that we're going to build this into a big business. My nose is running. I'm going to sniffle a little bit. I apologize. So, I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad to see some live streamers go away. Obviously, for those of you who watch Renegade Page's stream, that was the most recent one. Was Renegade Page got really upset and said, "You know what? I'm not streaming anymore." And there's a whole background story to that. But I was really sad. I was sad because he had a good stream. Say what you will about Page. I know a lot of people don't like him, and he's certainly not a very likable guy. There's lots of good reasons to not like Page, but I actually enjoyed his stream. I enjoyed hanging out over there. I thought it was a nice stream. I thought he was a real person exposing a real person on Twitch, and he basically one day just said, "You know what? I'm tired of this. I'm done," and he quit. Now maybe he'll start up again or not, but watching that was sad for me. So anyway, that was what triggered that for me. Next step of the press F to pay respects for Page. So anyway, the next thing I want to talk about, that's that bit. The next thing I want to talk about, we went to ESGS. Oh my God, we went to ESGS. For those of you who don't know what ESGS is, I really ought to know what it stands for by now, but I don't. It's like the Electronic Summit, Game Summit, I don't know what it is. It's somebody write in chat what ESGS stands for. It's the Electronic and Gaming Summit. No, it's the Esports and Gaming Summit. That's what ESGS stands for. I'm going to start this bit over again because Jobert's going to kill me if I don't. So this is for Monica's cutting purposes. So next thing, we went to ESGS. Oh my God, we went to the Electronic. I got it wrong again. So still, I'm going to do this again. This is for you, Jobert. So next thing, we went to the Esports and Gaming Summit, ESGS, in Manila. It's the biggest game show in the Philippines. It has, and this year was different. This year they actually didn't just have, they've had the consumer part for a while, and when I say consumer part, that means, there's a show that real customers can walk in and play games, and it's designed for game players to come look at games. E3, for instance, is a big consumer show. PAX is a big consumer show. And obviously, game developers like us, we go to consumer shows to show people our games. That's a thing we do. But usually, we go to a lot more, or at least me, I go to a lot more conferences, which are business-to-business conferences, not consumer shows. And those are conferences where game developers talk to other game developers about making games. We talk to publishers and show them our games and try to get them to publish our games. We have conferences where we talk about here's how to make games and here's how to do the stuff that we do and blah, blah, blah. That's what a B2B conference is. And Philippines has been kind of, looking for its own niche for a B2B conference. So they added a B2B conference to the consumer conference. So there was a thing called Game Fest that happened before ESGS. And so we went to that. We went to Game Fest, and we talked to a bunch of people at Game Fest about Last Regiment and about Boom Zap and the things that we're doing. And then we went to ESGS after that and showed our game at ESGS. It was a great experience. I will be honest. One of the main reasons we went to these things was we were kind of sad. We were actually hiring for a little bit. We needed a couple extra people in the studio, and I put out a hiring notice. And somebody replied to my hiring notice on Facebook with a note that said, "Oh, Boom Zap, are they still a company?" And I was like, "Fuck you! We've been a company for 12 years. What the hell?" But we haven't been as vocal a company. We hadn't been going to shows. We hadn't been going to conferences. And so we had a lower profile for a couple years. And I thought, well, all right, we need to go out and, wave the Boom Zap flag and let people know that we exist. So it was a great event for that. I got to talk to a whole bunch of students about making games and stuff like that, which was really fun. We got to have a big press conference, and I got to be on stage for a big press conference, and that was fun. I got to have my head on a big, huge monitor behind me, which I love that. There's nothing better than the pictures of me with a picture of me behind me. That's, if you want your ego stroked, post a picture of yourself on Facebook on a stage with a screen behind you with a huge version of you behind you. That's so anyway, I got to do that, which is always fun. And talk about, game crap. And so we got to do all that fun stuff. And that was great. And so a big shout out to Gabby and Alvin and all the other people that organized Game Fest. That was a great event. I'm hoping that we do another one next year. I'm hoping it's even bigger next year. So wait, I get there we go. I'm trying to get, I don't know if I'm better on this side or, wait, no, not that. Don't move that. I'm trying to think. I want me. I want to move me. Move me. There. I think I'm better over here. I like it better over here. I like it better on this side of the screen. I'm hanging out over here. So then we went to ESGS, and ESGS was fascinating. We went to ESGS quite early. Usually I'm a little bit nervous about taking a game to a conference when it's in the state that Last Regiment is in right now. We don't have a tutorial. We don't have a lot of the story-based stuff. There's some things that we don't have. I'm playing with my background. I'm going to start this over again because Monica's going to hate me because I'm messing around with it. There, that looks better. I like that. That's better. All right, so we went to ESGS, and usually I don't bring a show or a game. I don't bring a game to a show as early as we brought Last Regiment to ESGS. We don't have a tutorial. We don't have story-based stuff. There's a bunch of glitches, a bunch of the UI is placeholder. There's a bunch of stuff in the game that I was like, I don't know if I want humans to see this yet. But I thought, you know what? We've been live streaming it. Humans have seen it on live stream. And we've been talking about getting people involved in the development process. And I thought, this is another way that we could do that. And importantly, I just wanted to get people involved in the process earlier. And I thought, you know what? The Philippines is the right place to do that. For those of you who don't know, Boom Zap is about half Filipino. We've got people from all over the world. We have people from Russia and Ukraine and Thailand, and we actually have somebody working from Qatar now. We have people in the Philippines, obviously, and Indonesia and Singapore and Malaysia, all over the world. But honestly, about half of our studio is from the Philippines. And in many ways, sort of the heart of our studio is in the Philippines. There's a lot of Filipino in this studio. And I sometimes when I think, we're going to do a big event or we're going to release something or we're going to announce something, I always feel like we should support the Philippines because the Philippines has been incredibly supportive to this studio. Not just the people in our company, but people outside of the company. In the Philippines, we've always been treated very nicely, and I feel like in many ways I want to give back to the Philippine game industry. And so when we have an event or an announcement or something like that, I always feel like we should do this in the Philippines. So I was really happy that we did our first big announcement, let people play the game for the first time in the Philippines. That was good. That was morally the right thing to do. But on a more practical note, it's not a big show. I mean, ESGS is the biggest show in the Philippines, but being the biggest game show in the Philippines is kind of like being the prettiest waitress at the Denny's. It's not, not really a hard competition, right? When you get out of the Philippines, there's a lot bigger shows. And obviously the next show that we're going to bring this game to is PAX in San Antonio, and that is by world standards, a big ass show. There's a lot of press, a lot of people. If you bring something to PAX South, you better be bringing your A game, right? And I actually thought bringing this to PAX without having shown it to anyone before PAX is probably not a great idea. And so I thought ESGS would be a really nice sort of first show for us, with a very welcoming audience, people who I know were going to treat us well, press that I know are very supportive of the studio and have always been supportive of the studio. And all of this was as I expected. When we come out in the Philippines with a new game, the Philippines supports us, and that's great. But when we bring a show to PAX South is not going to necessarily support us. They don't give a fuck about us. And so it was a nice chance for me to put this game in front of a bunch of people and watch them play and see what do we need to do to bring our A game to PAX South. And for that, it was perfect. It was exactly the right time to do it. It was exactly the right call, because the game was just good enough to really see people play it and really see people try to get through it, but still early enough that I could make major changes based on what I saw and not feel like I was destroying a whole bunch of data or a bunch of missions or a bunch of stuff like that. And so I was very happy with the decision, and I was very happy with the results. So there's that. What did we find out at ESGS? I'm going to talk about all the little details here in a minute when we actually talk about what we've been doing. And there's a lot of what we've been doing that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. I'm going to have a drink of water. But the big thing that I realized is that we still have the big problem. And the big problem is the same big problem that Legends of Kalesia had. Legends of Kalesia had many problems, but the big problem of Legends of Kalesia, and this is no surprise to anyone who was involved in that community, was nobody knew we existed. How do you get people to know that your turn-based strategy game is a thing that they should be involved in? This is our core problem. It's been our core problem since the time that we decided to make another turn-based strategy game. It remains our core problem now. When we were at ESGS, we were obviously there. It's the electronic gaming, or the esports and electronic gaming summit. The esports part is very large there. They had Hearthstone tournaments and Overwatch tournaments and all kinds of tournaments for, big games, League of Legends and stuff like that. How do you stand out in a world of Overwatches and League of Legends and Hearthstones? How do you do that, right? I don't have the marketing budget of a Blizzard. I don't have the game that Blizzard makes. I mean, I'm not putting Blizzard down. Overwatch is, these are good games that these guys have put together, right? Hearthstone's one of my favorite games, and they've done a wonderful job with Hearthstone, not just in marketing it, but in making a very good game with very high production values. But the reality is Blizzard had millions of dollars to make that game, and I don't. We're building this out of our pockets. We're a little indie studio making a little indie game, and at some level it's always going to look a little bit indie, right? I mean, they're not going to get away from that. I'm not going to be able to build the effects or the graphics or the things that Blizzard is able to make. It's just not something we're capable of. That's a reality. So how do we, in this world of big, huge AAA productions, and many of them much more casual, much more geared to, the big audience, the people who want to play big, bright, splashy games, how do we survive? How do we let anyone know that our fun little indie turn-based strategy game is a thing? We saw it at ESGS. We had a nice booth. It looked very professional. We had, like boom zappers for whatever value they have standing in front of the booth. I'm not sure Nelson is really the best draw. I mean, you don't really see Nelson and be like, I got to go over there and hang out with that dude. I'm not sure, he's the best booth babe in the world, but I got a thing against booth babes, so we bring Nelson instead. Anyway, given that, I saw people walk right past our booth, and they would look and they would see our screen and they would see our art, and they would immediately in their head be like, I got nothing for this. This is not my game. This is not what I'm interested in. And they walk right on by. And that's a thing. We're always going to deal with that thing. That's not going to go away. And I can bring it to PAX. I can bring it to wherever. And there are going to be a very large portion of the audience that's going to look at us. They're going to see our game. They're going to see our art. They're going to see turn-based. And they're going to see hexes. And they're going to be like, yeah, I don't play those games. And they're going to walk right on by. And that's fine. They're not our audience. I can't get any money out of them. But I know there is an audience for people that like games with hexes and turns and widgets and things like that. Paradox has made an entire business out of finding those people and delivering them exactly the product that they want. So the question is, how did Paradox do that? The guys that made, what's that trading game? Patrician. I can't remember the name of the company that made Patrician, but it's a good company. The guys who made Tropico. There's a bunch of, and I think Patrician and Tropico come from the same company. I can't remember. I think it's a German. I don't remember, honestly. But there are companies that have made money making strategy games, finding that audience, delivering that product to that audience. But the question is, how do they find those people? And this is a question that we haven't answered in our studio yet. And for me, this is, of all the things about Last Regiment that keeps me awake at night, I know we can make a good game. I know I'm playing the game right now. It's fun. By the time we ship it, it's going to be super fun. It's a good game and it can be a better game. But I think we can turn out a pretty solid game at the end of this. How do I let anyone know that that game exists? Obviously, part of it is, right here, me doing dev streams and getting people in. So how do I get, and this is the problem is in the modern world, you're doing marketing for your marketing, right? Because you're like, all right, how do I get people to come to my, come to my Steam page and buy my game? Well, I could do a dev stream. All right, how do I get people to come to my dev stream? Well, I can put up a Twitter. Okay, how do I get people to sign up for my Twitter? And it's just this fucking rabbit hole that goes deeper and deeper where you're like, how do I market the marketing for my marketing? How do I get people, and it's a never-ending question. And obviously we've put Monica up against that question, and Monica has been banging her face against that question for years now, with damn near zero budget, and I haven't, I got respect for her. She's still, hanging in there and trying, but that's a hard thing to do. It's a very difficult task that we set in front of her, and I feel for her about it. But that's honestly, that's the problem. So there's that. And I'm going to take a little moment out and recognize chat for a second. This is Chris doesn't necessarily going to use this clip in his YouTube videos, talk to the chat part of the conversation. Hey, chat. Hey, Towers Igor, thanks for joining us. Hey, Flying Dutchie, it's been a while. Thanks for stopping by the live stream. Yeah, that's the name. More Mom Spaghetti Games, Calypso Games. That's the company I'm trying to think of. I remember it now. It's Calypso Games. They do a bunch of good stuff. I think Calypso does Tropico as well, but I know Calypso does Patrician. And they've made a really good living out of, and they still put shit in retail. If you go to Germany, they still put games in boxes in Europe. And they make a living at putting retail games in boxes. I don't know how they do that, but it's a thing. Yeah, I should run for Congress. That'll fix things. By the way, good job, Virginia, in the latest election. For anyone who's paying attention to American elections, Virginia actually voted intelligently for once. So, hey, go Virginia. And in fact, one of the first transgendered, I forget what office she actually won. I just read this morning, but one of the first transgendered individuals to ever been elected into public office in Virginia was elected in this election like 2 days ago. So, hey, good on you, Virginia. Well done. All right, that's all the politics I'm going to do. Yeah, state legislature. I think that's what it was, Merlin. And they got rid of Chris Christie in New Jersey and replaced him with a Democrat because you knew they were going to replace that guy with a Democrat, right? He had like a 15% rating. I mean, you got to run Jesus Christ himself as a Republican. He would not have won New Jersey. That would have been hard. So good job, New Jersey. Anyway, that's all the politics I'm going to talk about. Yeah. So put sexy orcs undead or undead orcs in your booth. The thing is, when talking about booth babes, the reality is, I have a personal problem with booth babes in general. And I just don't like it. I don't like the idea that, and it's not anything against, sexy women in skimpy clothes. I'm pro that, right? I mean, yeah, sure. I like sexy women in skimpy clothes, but I don't like them in my games. I don't like that being part of the game industry and this idea that, and it's not that I have some moral problem with it. I just find it tasteless and crass. And I think this isn't, when I played video games and when I played games as a kid, Um, for me, games. Just a little bit of me. When I was younger, and games for me was me and five of my friends would get together on a Friday night, and we'd pick somebody's house, and we'd spend the whole weekend at their house, and we do the big weekend sleepover, and we all bring our box games. We bring Axis and Allies and Risk and all these other games. And we everyone have a big pile of games, and one of us would DM a big D&D campaign one of those days, and we would play Dungeons and Dragons, and we would just love being gamers, and we would love being involved in games, and we would love being part of this, and that was just fun for us. And I am of the feeling that if we should be selling games, we should be selling that. I don't need a big-breasted woman in a bikini to sell me games. That's not... I don't need her to sell me orange juice either. I don't, sure, I got nothing against a big-breasted woman in a bikini. The world should have more of those. But I don't need them in my game show, and I don't need them selling me games, because that's not what games are. Games are something different for me. So for that reason, I've never been a big fan of booth babes. But on a more economic level, they don't work. We've looked at it. There's been people done study after study about this. Does sex sell games? And the answer actually is no. You will get more people at your booth with sexy chicks in bikinis. They will come and they will take pictures of the sexy chicks in bikinis. That will happen. They won't buy your game. They won't get involved in your game. And in fact, they're going to be in the way of people who would like to come be involved in your game. And so I'm actually always really proud of the kind of booth that BoomZap puts together. Some of you have come to PAX and seen the kind of booth that we put together. You know who we use for booth babes? We bring people who play our game, and we get volunteers to come into our booth. And we've had, obviously you guys know this. A bunch of you were there. Maple came out in PAX East, and Silent One came out in PAX South, and she brought other people who played her. Dally came out. And these are real fans, right? And for me, the difference between, hey, we went out and rented an escort to put on some skimpy clothes and hand out leaflets, versus, hey, we've got people here in the booth who are actually into our game and want to express to you how much they like the game. Fuck, I would go B every time, right? And so when we went down to ESGS, obviously it's the Philippines. I got staff in the Philippines, so we brought our staff. And so if you came to the booth in ESGS, you didn't see booth babes. There were no attractive women at the booth at ESGS. Oh shit, Monica was at the booth. There were no women in the booth that were not involved in the development of the game. That's what I want to say. Oh shit. Oops. God damn it. God damn it. I'm so sorry, Monica. What I want to say is all of the people that were in the booth at ESGS were involved in the development of the game, and they were there for the reason that they were involved in the development of the game. We did not hire hot chicks and dress them scantily. And for the record, Monica was not dressed scantily. Monica was dressed normally and looked like a game developer there in the booth. That's what I wanted to say. So I rolled a natural 1 on that charisma check. That's absolutely right. Wow, that was cool. Oops. That's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say is, if you come to a BoomZap booth, whether it's at PAX or ESGS or wherever it is, what you're going to find in our booth, by the way, the chat, I have an in-company chat, which is now discussing that particular faux pas. What I want to say is, if you come to a BoomZap booth, you will find people in that BoomZap booth that are genuinely interested in the game. And I think that's a better way of doing things. That's what I want to say. I'm making no comment on the attractiveness or unattractiveness of Monica. Nelson, on the other hand, is not an attractive man. I will say that. Just fact up. He's not pretty man meat. That's just the truth. So there you go. Anyway, moving on. Um, Upcoming milestones. I've got a couple things coming up for the game. Number one thing that we got coming up for the game, obviously, is some contests that we're entering the game in. We are entering the game in the big Indie Mega Booth contest because we're trying to get in the Indie Mega Booth at PAX East. If anyone here has any relationship with those people, go tell them how awesome we are and how awesome Kalasia was and how awesome Last Regiment is going to be and why you want Boom Zap in your booth, because we know that that's a much better space than the space that we always buy, because you're right there with all the other indies and they're people that make a, it's one of the problems that we've had, because when, I'll give you an example. When we had two booths at ESGS. We had the booth that we paid for, which was a very nice booth, looked very professional, but it was over amongst all of the other kind of big games, and so it was right next to the the place where everybody went and competed in League of Legends and stuff. And then thank you to the Indie Arena, which is run by our friend Gwen. Thanks, Gwen. At the Indie Arena, we had like a little thing that they gave us because we were in the Indie Arena event. And actually, that little tiny booth over in the Indie Arena section was there next to all of the other indies. And there were people who had sort of on their schedule of shit to do when they went to ESGS was go check out all the indie games over in the Indie Arena. And so they came and they checked out our game. And we were actually right across the way from all of the schools that were doing like their big, look at the game that we made in our school game program. And so people who were coming to check that out and the students who were involved in that, they came. We probably got twice the interested people coming to our little tiny booth at the Indie Arena area than we did at our big professional booth over in the main area. And this has, again, really sold me on the idea of if you want people to come and pay attention to your stuff, be where all the other indies are, so that people who are interested in indie games and interested in supporting indie games are going to be right there next to you and they're going to check out your shit. So if anyone here from the Indie Mega Booth, whatever people, please, I swear it's a good game. I'm good people. I swear we're indie as fuck. Come on, help us out, man. So a shout out to them. We're entering your contest. We're going to send you some stuff. And I promise you it's a good game, man. Do it. So we're doing that. We're also entering for the Indie Prize event at Casual Connect. We've been in a couple of these Indie Prize events. They're always great. We're always surrounded by great indie people. It's a huge thing we like to support. So we're entering that as well. I'm trying to not look at chat because somebody over there is like, we promise we will bring no attractive women. Anyway. Yes, we will. It will only be me at either one. At both of those events, it'll be me. There will be no attractive. It'll just be this, right? Be this bit of man hunk right here. That's all you're getting. So there's that. Now let's talk about the game. Let's see. I've got the game open. Let's see. I'm going to do. That's the button. Well, that's not the button I want. Not that one. I want that button. That's the button I want. Woohoo! There's the game. So, for those of you who've been paying attention to these dev streams and whatnot, the first thing you'll notice is, hey, that UI looks different. Boy, howdy does it. This was actually a response to one of the things that we saw at ESGS when I saw our game. It was interesting. There was a trailer that we presented to them, and they gave us this this trailer, space on their, that big screen. They showed this trailer in a kind of endless loop at the show, and we gave them, a bit of our game. And when our game showed up on the trailer, I was like, ugh, because the UI just looked really old and dated, and I thought, okay, we gotta do something about that. I got to thinking about the time setting of our game and the idea that we're trying to set it in this Enlightenment age period, the pre-Napoleonic Wars. This is the time of the American Revolution, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought, what was the visual design of that time like? And this is actually the age of Rococo, right? This is when that kind of design was really popular, and that's, for those of you who aren't into architecture and visual design, Rococo is the period of, if you look on the corners of this UI, these little things, these little, whatchamacallits, this filigree and whatnot. This is when this kind of stuff got really popular. If you see like those old clocks that are covered with all the little scroll work and whatnot, that's Rococo period stuff. And especially what got very popular during this period was asymmetric designs. So not just having lots of gold filigree, but having like a clock which was really heavy on this side and really light on this side, and playing with a balance of asymmetric designs, which I actually think is a really interesting period. Some people don't like Rococo because it can be a little over the top and it can come across as a little bit frou-frou-y, which bad Rococo certainly can. But I thought actually bringing some of these Rococo designs into our game would be a good way to, mesh the visual look of the time period with what we're doing. And also it looks pretty. So you can see there's our new UI. I'm actually really happy with it. We have not done the full transition. We have more changes to make to the rest of the UI. So as I show you more of the game, you'll see some of the old UI. And in fact, it's interesting. When I click over to the old UI, you're immediately like, oh, yeah, that's not as good. You immediately are like, okay, this is way easier on the eyes. So that's change number one. Change number two. We looked at structures, and this is, I'll go in the editor for a moment and show you what we're talking about here. By the way, check out our cool new editor art. So let's load up a map right now. Let's say we load up Better Leaf Point's a good map. So here's one of our maps. I don't know if you guys have seen much of our editor yet. Here's our editor, by the way. Woo, yay. And one of the things I was looking at was we're starting to talk about what does our single player game look like? How do we make a single player mission? What's involved in a single player mission? And once we started having that discussion, I got to thinking about the buildings. And we had this idea that wherever there's one of these ruins, you could build something. And we had this kind of large building tree where you could build a tower which turns into a fortress, which turns into something really big, and you could build villages and stuff. But I got to thinking about the lore of the game and the feeling of the game, and does this actually make sense? Does it make sense that you could go build a village? Does it make sense that, when we were playing Legends of Kalasia, the caveat was, these are wars, and these wars take seasons, and, each move is a month. And so you had this feeling that, like, this war took 4 years. So in that 4 years, the idea that you would build a castle or build a hamlet or a village, that kind of made sense. But the theme and the feel of this game is more on a much more tactical level. These aren't huge armies. These aren't countries. These are little regions, and these are regiments fighting regimental battles within these regions. In this setting, does it make sense that you could build a cathedral or build a town? And to me, it just doesn't make sense. So I got to thinking, what if we actually separated it out and we said that there are some things that you can build and some things that you can't build? And so what we've got now, if you look in our many things that you can build, right, we still have some big stuff. Like here's a gnarled village. If I want to put a gnarled village down, let's see, I'll put one. Oh, let's put it right here. Boom. There's a village, right? Now that village can actually only now be placed in the editor. And I can actually give it a wall, or I give it not have it not have a wall. So there you can see there's my little orc village with a wall. If, for instance, I wanted to replace that with, or let's say I wanted to have a different village. This, for instance, is a human village. Let's put a human village right here next to it. It has its own little wall, which I can put on the has wall tag. It has a little human village wall around it, for instance. Now, this is something that I can put down in the editor. In fact, I can put a couple villages together if I would like. That's a thing I can do. Here's a couple more pieces of that village. I can go in and say that I would like these pieces of the village to also be part of the walled village section. And it will all come together and make a certain amount of sense. There's some weird bugs where it's not moving the wall between some of these villages, which it needs to do later. I think I have to, there's some fixing to be done there. But anyway, the idea is this is something that you can build with the editor. This is something that exists as part of the map. And in fact, I can even give these little villages names and stuff. I can't. I can actually. So I could call this, for instance, Mom's Spaghetti. I don't know how to spell spaghetti. S-P-A-G-H-E-T-T-I. Is that spaghetti? That's spaghetti. Mom's Spaghetti Village, right? So I could actually make it that way, and then later on when I'm playing the game and somebody clicks on that, he will see, oh, that's Mom's Spaghetti Village. I would actually probably make this like North Mom's Spaghetti, etc., right? Yeah, North Noodles. I'm going to call that North Noodles. So now I can actually make, and importantly, this is now a map feature. And if a player takes over that village, he can't build a tower on top of it. He can't change anything. It's a village, right? And so now I can make that village part of the story. And I can say in the story, you need to go take over Mom's Spaghetti Village. And now you can go click on it, and that's Mom's Spaghetti Village. And I can go over there and I can deal with it. And so now it can become an element of the story. But we also have other objects in the game, which are player buildable objects. So for instance, this watchtower is a playable, and you can also put them up in the editor if you want. But the idea is that's something that's kind of small and reasonable sized, and the player can actually build that. And then in theory, after he builds it, he can also add walls to it if he wants. And that's a thing that he can build. That's a thing that makes sense for, yeah, this is the kind of size and scale of something that a player could build and interact with in the game. So we're playing around with that. Actually, we're going to play a game here in a little bit. It'll be our first game that we do with all of this working. We'll see how it works. So there's that. Next thing, notification improvements. Let me go back out of this. Control Q, I think, is what gets me out of here. So let's say for a moment, I'm going to just open up a skirmish map real quick and play a quick skirmish map by myself. So this is something that comes directly from our experience in ESGS. So Towers Igor asked, by the way, when you put enough villages together, they can morph into a more combined city tile. They'll always be separate tiles because the whole game understands the world based on single hexes. But the art will actually adjust and make it so that it all looks like one city. That's something we're working on, so that'll look cool. Right now it looks a little weird because the walls don't. But it's a bug. Actually, it used to work. It doesn't work now. It's a thing we got to fix. Nelson, can you put a note, by the way, that that's a thing we need to fix? So next feature. When we were at ESGS, the most common question I got, and by the way, I want to start with one part of our ESG experience that really made me happy. Was we didn't have a tutorial at ESGS. So basically, the way I tested this game at ESGS is we would sit somebody down in front of the game, and I would give them 30 seconds worth of, okay, here's your unit, here's his attack, here's his defense, here's what most of this shit means. And they would and I would take like 2 turns, and I'd be like, look, when you play the game, you drag the unit around, here's what he does. And then I would just hand them the mouse and sit back. I wouldn't say anything. And they got it. They got the game. It was very different than the experience that we had with Kalasia, where in Kalasia there was always, you could see the confusion and they didn't really know what they were doing, and you could tell that in this game people grab it and they sort of immediately innately understand what they're doing. And it comes from a couple things. One, I think there's a lot better information on the screen. I think everything is presented in a much more reasonable format. There's only one screen. There's not like a separate battle screen that they have to figure out. All the information is right here for them. And all of that's good. The bad is they kept asking me what order do things happen in because of the simultaneous turns. And actually this became when I got to thinking about it, I realized this is actually a critical issue in the game. Because if I heal somebody, do I heal them before or after they take damage? Because if they take damage, shouldn't they die and then get healed? Right? Or if I curse you and turn you into a monkey, do you turn into a monkey before or after I shoot you with my gun? Because the monkey has a different hit points. The monkey may have something that stops them from getting rifle damage, right? So there's a whole world of these questions of, did this thing happen before this other thing? And so we've made sort of a large revamp to a lot of things. One of those is, you'll notice the colors of our different powers and stuff down here have changed a little bit. And the reason for this is everything now belongs to a kind of group. So if I look at charge, this belongs to, and excuse, we haven't done the actual localization for it yet. That thing that says POW type move there, that's the localization text. Later that'll be replaced with a real string of text which says move and attack. And this is an ability that happens during the move and attack phase, right? As opposed to raised structure, which is something that happens during the interruptible actions phase. And we know that the move attack phase happens before the interruptible actions phase, which means if you get attacked before you raise this structure, then you're not actually going to raise the structure because that's an interruptible action, right? And, you know, for instance, taxation is another interruptible action. So now there's a very good, clear language for this happens, this happens, this happens, and this happens. And if you do this before this, the effect of this will take place before the effect of this. And this is by far the number one question we got asked at ESGS. So it's the turns are still all happening at exactly the same time. So everybody moves at the same time. Everybody fires their guns at the same time. But we do get to see as it goes through, okay, everyone's going to shoot their gun at the same time and everyone's going to get their damage taken from being shot at the same time. Then everyone's going to move at the same time and everyone's going to resolve their movement and combat at the same time. Now everybody's going to do this kind of stuff, etc., right? I'm hoping this solves a lot of these problems. Again, we've just put this in literally in the last couple days, and in fact the game is buggy as hell right now because we're still messing around with this. This was a major sort of overhaul of a lot of stuff. It doesn't sound like a big thing, but it touched every system in the game. It touched all of the data, and it was a lot of work when we put it in. But the result so far I'm happy with. So now what we actually see, let's say I'm going to move this guy. And by the way, another thing that we changed while I'm on things we changed is movement. If you'll notice, it used to be the case that when you moved, you actually dragged the hero, and I would actually see the hero drag along as I moved him. And I realized one of the problems was because that hero was so big, when you dragged the hero around, you didn't really know what hex. If I had drugged that hero sort of here in the middle of these two hexes, it may have triggered on that hex, it may have triggered on this hex. And what I noticed when I was watching people play was everybody did their move like 2 or 3 times because they always got it wrong. They always drug it this way and they thought, oh, okay, I want to go, oh, it put my arrows in the wrong place. And so what I said was, let's change that and let's actually not drag the character. Instead, let's just drag this little arrow. So now I've got this really fine-tuned point, which is my mouse that I'm dragging. And now, actually, you make a lot less errors in your movement dragging. It feels a lot sort of more responsive and natural, and you end up only having to drag your movement once. So for the moment, let's move this guy here. I want to get him over where he can go attack somebody. And you'll notice during movement, this thing appears at the top of the screen. By the way, this is placeholder. We're going to make a prettier version of that. But it actually walks you through during the resolution phase. Which part of the resolution phase am I in right now? Now, right now it goes pretty quick because there's not much to do other than throw you in the movement phase. And there's a bug. But you can see, all right, now during the upkeep phase, I get my gold and whatnot. Right now it's very fast because it's just me moving around, right? But let's see if I can find somebody to go fight, and we'll actually see. All right, so now I go into that guy. That's all happening during movement and combat, right? And then no one's doing any completable actions, so there's no completable actions happening. And then I got my gold during the upkeep phase, right? So let's back you up real quick. Run away. So you saw that guy got summoned during summoning. Now we're moving during movement and combat, and now I get my gold during upkeep, right? And so as we get more things happening, each one of those different phases will show me what's happening in each one of those phases. And what's nice about this is now it's not a question of like, and I think this was one of the big problems with Kalasia was, and we saw this actually. Kalasia was in the Steam sale, and when Kalasia was in the Steam sale, a bunch of people started playing Kalasia. And when a bunch of people started playing Kalasia, they didn't play Kalasia as well as the old Kalasians did because they didn't know all of these sort of secret rules of Kalasia that you didn't know. Oh, this thing happens before this thing happens, or this thing does before that other thing does. We didn't know when those things were going to happen or what was going to happen. And so you just kind of learned it over time, or you had to find somebody who told you. But now it's right there on screen. When is this going to happen? Well, look, it happened in phase 2. Now you know. It's very straightforward. It's very easy to understand. Let me back up. I need to take over something to get some more gold real quick. You'll notice we have not updated the UI in this bit yet. We're still in the process of doing that. Hopefully we will have that done soon. I'm trying to get it done before we submit a bunch of stuff for next week's big contest entries and whatnot. We'll see. All right, I built a thing. Let me build another thing. Ooh, I can build a blacksmith. I can build a sawmill. I can build a windmill. These are all... So now you can see the new build tree, right? So I built myself a homestead, which was the first thing I could build myself. Now that I built myself a homestead, now there's a bunch of sort of homesteady things that I can build. In this case, I'm going to build a sawmill, which is going to give me the power of construction, which allows me to build nearby stuff cheaper, which is good. Let's see, I can build a new unit now. Let me build up... do I have any builder units? No, I don't have any builder units. Let me build this guy. Alright, so now you see I summon him in phase 1. I do my completable action here in phase 6. I get my upkeep in phase 7. Nothing happened in the other ones because nobody cursed anybody and nobody fought anybody. So pretty straightforward stuff. So I'm actually really, really happy with that change. I'm really happy with I'm happy with how easy it is to understand stuff now. So that's a big change that we made. What was the other stuff that we changed? So actually this is a change that came largely directly from the input of people here in this live stream. We were building our new emblems. And everybody said, I want the old emblems from Kalasia. The Kalasia emblems are cool. And we had the new emblems, and I looked at them, and you know, the people at ESGS too, they were like, is this placeholder art for the old ones? Because they didn't really fit in with the whole theme and feel of the game. They looked really rounded and cutesy compared to more normal emblems. So they have gone in and added every one of your favorite emblems from Kalasia are now in the game. So when you're making your cute little emblems, all the animals and whatever that, all of this stuff from that game, it's all here. Here's your creepy hand, and now you can use them the way that you could use the old creepy stuff. So, you know, for those of you who loved all of this, you still get that. Is there a salt shaker emblem? I think the salt shaker made it in. Yep, there it is. You can still have salt. So you can now be the king of salt. And I believe you can make that salt pink if you want it to be. Now I'm the king of cinnamon. Or I guess that's more like cocoa. That's cinnamon. I'm the king of cinnamon. You can have any seasoning you want, in fact. I'm the king of mustard. But we have all these great emblems from Kalasia. I think we'll go through and do a little bit of work on some of them, because some of them, like, we could separate these leaves out and make that. So I think there's still a little bit of work to be done on the emblems. But for the purposes of right now, it's all there. So that's another change that we made. And that was directly from input from this live stream. So, you know, thanks for that, guys. We have some new powers. I could go through all of them, but it's kind of boring. We have a bunch of new art. Some really pretty stuff. I don't know if we've had the new sexy goblin in since I talked to you guys last. This is now my favorite piece of art in the game. We had a different goblin. This is Captain Hollythorn. She's the leader of the Dark Talon faction. the old goblin looked much more sort of jokey, goblin-y, and I looked at her and I thought, and this actually gets to something that the Silent One was talking about earlier about cosplaying, and I want all of the characters in our game to be something that somebody might want to cosplay. And I looked at the old goblin and I thought, nobody will ever cosplay that. It's just unattractive and ugly, and not in a fun way, unattractive and ugly. It looked like, yeah, a goblin. Yeah. And I thought, goblins always get this. Goblins always get this, like, shitty, like, nobody wants to be them. And I went back to Edwin. Edwin, by the way, is the artist who drew this. And I was like, I want a sexy goblin. And he was like, dude, I don't know what's going on in your head. But I was like, I want a sexy goblin. I want the goblin to be cool. And we came up with the idea that the goblins are kind of punk rock. Like they're like, and the story to the goblins, by the way, is that they're anti-magic. The whole world fell into this sort of apocalyptic whatever, and during this sort of apocalyptic whatever, the Highborn, the elves, created these incredibly magical creatures and magic kiss and magic whatever, and because of that, the goblins pulled away and they said, we are anti that. We're not about that. And so goblins never use magic. Goblins are traditional. They use largely traditional weapons. They are masters of the woods. They're like ninjas. They're like weird wood ninjas and rangers. They're masters of the environment and nature. That's kind of where they sit in the frame of things. And so I said, make me a sexy female goblin that sits in that world. And this is what Edwin came up with. And I remember the first day I looked at that, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. That is like, I could not have been happier with this. She is, I mean, come on, dudes, you would do that goblin. You would totally do that goblin. I would totally do that goblin. I'm not even ashamed to say that. I'm not at all ashamed to say that. And then I said, you know what? If we're gonna have hot, sexy, chick goblins, we need to have, hot, sexy dude goblins, which is where the Dark Talon Hunters, which is our goblin boy band, came from. They came out a little bit boy bandy, but actually I really like them. I mean, they got a real kind of David Bowie look to them, which I'm actually pretty pleased with. But they came out pretty boy bandy. But I'm actually really happy with them. But let me show you the newest piece of art that I'm just really shit-fired excited about. Check this out, right? If you don't like that piece of art, right? If you're not into, and let me just for the record, let me it's a hot, sexy goblin with a spear riding on the back of a flying squirrel. I get to make a game with this in it and you don't. And that's what I'm saying. This is, how big are those squirrels? Really big fucking squirrels. That's what I'm saying. Those are huge squirrels with pissed off goblins riding them. And I'm just here to say that's, I saw this piece of art and I thought, I live a life where this is my job. My job is to make this thing. I thought that was cool. So there's that. So there's some of the new art that we made. We also made some improvements to the effects of the game. Problem is, the big changes that we did recently, and also we're doing some other big changes, have messed around with that. So I'm not going to be able to show all that to you right now. And by the way, someone noticed if you look in the center of my screen at the top here, yeah, that's right. I'm getting 60 frames a second, which is not great. And this is one of the things we're looking into. For those of you who played with my crappy computers when we brought Kalasia to PAX South and PAX East, yeah, this game did not do well on those crappy little computers. We were getting like 9 frames a second. We actually ended up having to use them as monitors and plug real laptops into them. There are optimizations that we need to do to fix all of that. It's a known problem, but it's a fixable problem. But to be honest, this game has got a lot more going on in it than Kalasia did. So we're never going to get the frame rates that we got on Kalasia. That's always going to be a little worse. But there's certainly not going to be 62 frames a second in the menus. We can certainly do better than that. That's not cool. Although we may have this capped. I'm not sure. I need to look into it. It's right. The thing is, there's a whole team of people in the middle of looking into this right now, and I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly where we are with that process. But for those of you who are seeing that frame rate and are like, "Oh my god, that frame rate is shit." Yeah, that frame rate is shit. But we're working on it. Things are improving in that world. So don't get too worried about that. All right, so we're going to take a 1-minute break while I blow my nose, actually, and then I'm going to play some Last Regiment, and we're going to see what this new game looks like. For those of you Boom Zappers who are watching, Nelson and Ben and all of you guys, this is for you to get ready, and we're going to play some multiplayer. So you guys get ready. I am going to let's see. I'm going to crank up a little of this music for you while I blow my nose. Well, I was supposed to. There it is. Okay, we're back. I don't know about you, but probably one of the most satisfying moments in in a man's life or a woman's life. This is not sex based. There's no gender to this. When you just have like something like right there in your sinuses, and you're just like whack, and it there, there's sometimes it's all kind of gooey, and you're like, oh, that's not real satisfying. But sometimes there's like a big hunk that just like pops out, and you're like, yeah, and you look at it like it was like a enemy or something, and you're like, you have been fucking with me for the last 15 minutes, and you're out now, motherfucker. Like that particular moment is a good moment for me. That's just I know you wanted that info, but you know what I'm talking about when you see that, because you there's a thing in your face that hurts you and bothers you, and you're like, and you're sniffling, and you're like, and you're just like, God, this is, and then whap, and you're there, it's in your hand, and you're like, that's the thing. That thing right there, that's been fucking with me for the longest time, and I hated you, and you're out now. Fuck you, trash can. That's the. It's a good moment. It's a happy moment. I feel so much better right now. And for those of you who are like, wow, that was a really long, because theoretically that shouldn't have taken nearly as long as it did. I made a big mess in my beard, and there was some cleaning after that. There was some Kleenex, and there was a few moments of like, wow, that's, who knew that was there. And this is the downside of having, for those of you who don't have beards, this is the real downside moment of having a beard is, if you ever go somewhere cold. I used to go skiing with my father. My father always had a big beard, and when we would go skiing together, like, his nose would run, but it's freezing cold out, right? And by the end of the ski day, he would look like a walrus, because he would have these little snotsicles that would kind of come down from, and they would go all the way down, and they would freeze and harden. So there's that. There's I watch as my viewer count just goes straight through the whatever. I'm gonna build a regiment now. All right, what are we building today? So, one of the changes that we are talking about doing in the game, I noticed when I was at ESGS that there's a problem with having too many heroes in the game. Right now, we made it so you're allowed to have up to 3 heroes in the game, which means you have units from up to 3 factions in your game, which seemed smart when we started. But one of the problems is, because the heroes are so powerful, you basically end up with a screen full of heroes. And everyone's got the same heroes, and you see the same heroes repeated everywhere. And it made the heroes kind of unspecial for me. And I actually decided that I wanted to have fewer heroes available to the player during the game. And also I wanted to make the faction choice more critical, so that when people choose a faction, they're like, okay, I'm choosing these 2 factions, and that's, this choice that I'm making. So what I'm actually doing is I'm limiting the players to 2 heroes now. It's not implemented yet, but for the purposes of testing, I am only going to choose 2 heroes, even though the game right now still allows me to have 3. But I'm only going to take 2. And I have found, actually, that Silvio here, I like Silvio because he's my economic hero. He brings a lot of economic goodness with him. And I actually really like this angry farm machinery, because they're actually they're a butch unit. They got a lot of health to them, but they also have this really nice bonus gold resource ability, and they charge. And because the charge gives me a +5, they actually have a reasonable attack if I'm moving. So they're kind of a good guy to keep hanging around on your houses. We've also got these traders, right? This is an incredibly good unit because they give you commerce, so they can actually they can do a lot of good in your villages and whatnot. They give you a +10 to your gold limit, which is really useful, and they also give you +5 to your gold resource. So this is like, if you want to make a lot of money quick, these are your dudes, right? So anyway, I'm gonna go with these traders because that's huge economy, right? Now there's also these craftsmen, which is the economy builders, which is kind of a nice combination if maybe you don't want to have a really if you don't want to fill up your units with these traders, then you could get these, because usually you want a second builder unit. I don't actually like this second builder unit as much as I like some of the others. Now, what I do want is I want a healer. And because I'm not going to bring Zilvera into this game, I got to bring a secondary, a shittier hero. Shittier healer. That's what I wanted to say. So I'm gonna bring this chick, the Hearth Witch. She's got some healing ability. She's also got this Curse of Exposure, which is pretty cool. She's also got this Curse of Pain, which is reasonably cool. So she's got some curses on her. She's got, and you know, she's also got really great art. I think she's pretty cool. Ben, apparently, I did not write the fluff text, by the way. The fluff text is all Ben. If it's sexist, it's not my fault. It's Ben's, and it will all be corrected before the final game. Although, actually, I kind of like some of it. I might keep some of it. I'm going to take a little of the sexism out, but, you know, other than that, it's all right. What do we got? Now, who's my other hero? Now, I actually really like Tristan. Tristan's got some great units. He's our cavalry boss, right? So you got Leopard Scouts, which is cavalry. We've got these elves on Elk, which is another strong cavalry unit. We've got flying cavalry, the Griffin Dragoons. So I'm tempted to bring, and in fact, I think I will. I'm going to bring Tristan. And because I'm bringing Tristan, I think I'm going to bring. I always bring the Griffin Dragoons. This is like your all-purpose, all-seeing. It's got flying. It's got some muskets. This is a great unit. Just a very strong unit. I'm gonna bring these pyromancers because I don't have any. I need some ranged weapons and some ranged effects and some buffs. I really the highborn engineers are not the best of the secondary builder units, and that's the weakness of bringing Silvio and Tristan, is I feel like I'm not getting a great secondary builder unit. My favorite secondary builder unit, by the way, is if you bring Captain Hollythorn, who I often bring just because she's totally hot. This unit, the Batwing Builders, excuse the art, that's still placeholder. That's actually Greg, one of our artists, with his son, who I believe is named Dylan. They actually are a flying builder unit, which I think is just a really nice unit. But I'm not bringing Hollythorn. I'm bringing Tristan, and because I'm bringing Tristan, I don't think I'm going to get a good second builder. But I do think I'm going to bring these cuirassiers because I want a hard-hitting cavalry unit. I need a cheap-ass unit. The militia, that's my cheap-ass unit. Got one more space to fill. I could bring this heavy-hitting chainsaw shock troop. That's a good heavy-hitting unit. I could bring some artillery, which is probably my best choice because I'm short on artillery. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this artillery. So that's my unit. In honor of Flying Duchy being here, I'm going to call this regiment the Orange Guards. Why did I not make that O capital? What is wrong with me? Oh, I don't like our text. We have a lot of notes in our text. All right, and let's see. Let's make a cooler emblem while we're here. Let's see. Which emblems do I want? The Orange Guards. Well, first of all, let's start with. I believe we want to make the Orange Guards orange, right? So let's make that. Do I have an orange? There's a nice good orange. And let's make that there. Now we're talking orange. And then for our emblem, that's a good emblem. And I think we'll make the color on that maybe like a nice brown. No, let's go. Yeah, that works. That looks good. Maybe that. Yeah, all right, I'm down with that. So, yep, we're good to go. Save and exit. All right, and I'm gonna change my name to Pish Must Stream. There we go. So that's my that's what I'm doing. Let's play some multiplayer. Let's see if anyone else has shown up yet. while we do this, I will check in with chat and see how chat is going. Let's see. Anything? Pizza delivery guy with 30 time limit. Let's see. Health should be on the right. It's a standard convention for like everything in this. The dude at ESGS reading descriptions. Yeah, that was so cool. ESGS, there was like this guy who was really, really into our descriptions, and he like read through each and every one of them, and it was really sad because it was right at the end of the show, and like I had a plane to catch, so I had to pack up the computers and go. And I'm watching him like sit and like laboriously, step by step, figure out exactly which units he was going to take, and he finally got everything all set up, and he only had like 10 minutes left, and I felt like such a jerk. I was like, yeah, okay, now you got to go. But I think his game crashed anyway, so there's that. Yeah, Halfway, you and I both know you're here for the nose blowing, really. Really, I did not. Is that story about the Orange Guard? Like, no, okay, you're messing with me. That's not a real story. You're making that up. They're known for their riding ability. All right, I got 2 people. Who else is in? I'm waiting for some more people. All right. I got 2 slots ready. Get in my game. Who was the hot blonde on this? Oh, that was that's actually the cell swords. The hot blonde is the cell swords. Actually, so her and the Beastmasters, the art that's on right now, excuse the broken UI, were both done by one of our Indonesian artists, Lani, a really, really solid artist from, I think she lives in Surabaya. And she's, for whatever reason, Lani makes really hot characters. Like, whether she's drawing dudes or chicks, they're always hot. And I totally support that. While we wait for people to join the game, I have something I want to talk to you guys about. Which does relate to your I want to play comments. We are going to do a thing. We are right now trying to figure out when we're going to put this game into early access. Obviously, we're going to do early access again. But we actually want to do something prior to early access. We've had a bunch of people in this live stream and other places say, hey, can I get an early copy of the game? I really want to play with it and, you know, get you ideas and stuff. And maybe we could do it before early access. And I have actually decided, yeah, that's a cool thing. And I want to do that. And it's especially, I want to reward the people who have been supporters of Boom Zap strategy games. People who have been for Kulasia and all that, or people who come to the live stream. So we're going to do a contest. We're going to do a thing. And the thing is, we are going to do a pre-early access build, an earlier access, if you will, and in fact, earliest access, which is not totally true because actually those dudes in the Philippines already got to play it, so they actually had the earliest access. Or if you were to come out to PAX South and play there, that would be earliest access. But to be in earlier access, there's a couple different ways you can get there. You can't just sign up. You got to do some stuff. Number one thing that you can do is, if you were a beta tester for Legends of Kalasia, you're invited. Done. So I think that's like half of the stream. So if you beta tested Legends of Kalasia, you will be invited to the closed beta, the earlier access. We'll do that. All right, if you weren't a beta tester for that, the second way that you can get to be a part of this thing is you can watch my dev streams. Here in our dev streams, we give out boom bucks for your time in the dev stream. If you hit 2,000 boom bucks on the Boom Zap official Twitch dev stream, whatever, if you come, and which means I get it, you could lurk if you wanted to, but you hit 2,000 points, then you're in. Anyone with 2,000 points, bam. And you can go check the leaderboard and see where you are. So, boom bucks get you in. Way 3 that you can get in. If you can't make the dev streams, I know a lot of people, you know, they're in Europe and we don't do these in a happy Europe time or something like that, come to our Discord and be an active member of our Discord and reach level 15 through chatting on our Discord. If you do that, we will let you in the earlier access, right? And then obviously for people who are press and content creators, let's say you want to make some YouTube videos and stuff like that, we may be bringing some of those people into earlier access as well. People who are willing to support us and you know, do things for us and commit to supporting our launch and that sort of thing. Some of those people can get into earlier access too. But for the majority of you, the easiest way to get into our earlier access is, you know, if you were a beta tester, you're already in. Have at it. We want to support our beta testers from Legends of Kalasia. You're part of the group. We've got your email. We know who you are. So the two easiest ways: come watch this dev stream. 2, come check out our Discord, chat in our Discord, bring other people to our Discord, and you know, you don't get points for bringing other people to the Discord, but you certainly will make the chatting in our Discord less painful, because you'll have other people to chat with in our Discord and it'll be more fun. So those are the ways in which you can be one of our earlier access people and get earlier access to our game. Obviously the question is, when does that happen? I don't know yet. We will be announcing dates for all of this in early 2018, probably right around the time of PAX. So, out of curiosity, I wonder how many points I have on the Booms app. Let's see. Points, is that how I see that? I have 15,447 points. I'm in! So, there's a leaderboard? I didn't know there was a leaderboard. Go figure. So, where was I? I was going to play a game. I only got 3 people. All right. Am I really playing with 3 people? Really? Wait, is there a leaderboard? The Boombax leaderboard. Let's see. Who's where on the leaderboard? While I wait. All right, so Ben and Edwin are too busy. They're fixing stuff, so they're not going to play. So it's me and Nelson and Shiro playing, it looks like. Just for the record, going and checking the leaderboard. Number 1 on the leaderboard for who has watched the most Boomzap Official, that would be Boomzap Official. Good job, Boomzap Official. You've watched yourself more than anyone else. Number 2 would be Monica. Okay, obviously. Interestingly enough, I only come in at number 3, so Monica has watched more of this than I have, which I guess makes a certain amount of sense. Number 4, LA Peacock, who we haven't seen around here lately, but good job on you. Number 5, Boomzap Ben, a Boomzapper. Number 6, Scribble Dude, one of our other Boomzappers. Number 7, Nelson, another one of our Boomzappers. So up to number 7 are all Boomzappers except for LA Peacock. First person who comes in on the charts who doesn't work for the company and isn't LA Peacock. Look at you, Colgan. Look at you coming in at number 8. Dwarf Furious, who we haven't seen in a while, comes in at number 9. Pige, of all people, comes in at number 10. Cool. Cream Soda Popcorn. Don't know who Cream Soda Popcorn is, but they come in at number 11. Legendary Bacon Gaming at number 12. Biff Hard Cheese, who we have not seen in a very long time, comes in at number 13. I know Biff watched a lot of Kalasia. I don't think he's been here in like a year. Merlin comes in at 14, and then we go on down the list. Silent One, you come in at number 18. Let's see, who else is here that comes in on the list? Lord Daiko, who we haven't seen in forever, comes in at 22. And then a couple more zappers, some other people. Drogoth comes in at number 20. So that's the top list. Who knew? Now we know who is where. Alara watches because she, yeah. So Alara gets Merlin's points. But I think, Alara, you were one of our beta testers. You're already in, I think. I think you're in. All right. There's that. We got 3 players. Let's play some. I'm going to go for medium hardpoint, medium game. Ready up. Ready. I love booth babes. Ready up. That's you, isn't it, Nelson? I know that's you. I love booth babes. Nelson was our booth babe. It's funny that I don't know what it is about the way that Nelson dresses, but every time he shows up at one of our shows, he looks like the security. Nelson's kind of a big, scary looking guy. He looks kind of like Dave Grohl, but doesn't as much now because he's got a new haircut. But he looks a little bit like Dave Grohl, and he's a big guy. And the thing is, he's not just a big guy. He's a big guy in the Philippines where there aren't like a lot of big guys. So in the Philippines, he looks really big, and he's got the dark black shirt on because we require boom zappers to wear black shirts at our conventions, and he's got the hat and he's got the little belly bag, and he looks like he's about ready to like break someone's arm if they don't play nice. That's how Nelson looks at conventions. All right, so I started out with Guildmaster Silvio. He's my dude. He's my starting hero. I could let's see, what could I do? I could go with the interact button. I could try to interact with a treasure for a chance at fortune and misfortune. I'm not. I'm going to go directly on to building something. We don't have art for it yet, but I could build a camp. The camp is, this is your sort of quick route to a useful something. I could build another portal. I could build a watchtower. I'm actually going to build myself a homestead. Ah, my nose is running again. Stupid nose. All right. Holy shit, this game doesn't look like straight ass anymore. Thanks, Paj. We'll put that on the back of the box. Not like straight ass. That'll be our tagline, you know. It's better than ass. Oh, hey, Cheese. Cheese is somebody who used to work at BoomZap, and now she works for the Casual Connect organization, and she's a very nice person, and we like her very much. Hey, Cheese. Let's see. I'm building a new dude. I think I'm bringing out my secondary hero. It's probably my best plan. I think you are going to, if at all possible. Nope, you don't have the money to upgrade anything. So it's time for you. Let's see if that doubles the gold production on this tile. Right now the gold production is 3, so doubling it would get me 6. Or commerce would produce 2 gold per turn. Well, fuck that. I'm going with the farming on that one. That's an easy bid. Please don't look too hard at our FPS. I swear it's better. Actually, this same game was getting, on this computer, was getting about 200 FPS on an earlier version of it. We're playing around with a bunch of graphics options, trying to figure out, because I mean, this is the thing people don't understand about games, is they don't have like, it's not like this game is fast. It doesn't work like that. It's that this game uses certain bits of the graphics card or certain bits of the CPU, and depending on what kind of computer you have, it may or may not be fast. And the question is getting everything set up so that it runs reasonably fast on most machines. Because you can set up a game to run really fast on people who have the right machine, but it'll run like a dog on people who have the wrong machine because of the combination of GPU and CPU and whatnot. And there's a very deep hole there about, okay, you know, is the frame rate hit by, you know, the fill rate from the textures? Is it hit by the actual processing of the data? There's a bunch of different things that could affect it, and depending on which is which. Oh, Shiro's coming across here. Shiro's going to come over and be a badass? Really? Is that how you're going to play it? I'm not going to put up with that. I'm not tolerating that foolishness. Alright, so I gotta build some more shit is what I gotta do. I can't build you guys because I don't have, I'm gonna need some more pop cap before I can build much of anything. You have to upgrade is what you need to do. That needs to happen. Who's gonna give me the better pop cap? None of these have great pop cap. I'm going to go for the thing that's going to allow me to build stuff faster. All right. There we go. There will be no plants and zombies. The PopCap we speak of is a different PopCap. All right, you. All right, it's time for you to build something. Specifically, you're going to build that. Hopefully, you'll get left alone while that happens. I think I may be about to get ganked because I didn't build fast enough. Maybe I should have just built some cheap, powerful units instead of heroes and bum rushed like Shiro did. I'm trying to think, what is there something better I can do against the bum rush? See, one of the problems is when we did the building rebalance, I assumed that the maps are going to have some cities and villages and stuff like that to take over in. But I'm actually playing a map that was built before we did the rebuild of the buildings. So I'm a little worried that the balance for everything is going to be completely off because, you know, right now I can't build shit because I'm pop capped, right? And the pop cappedness is hurting me pretty badly. And I should be able to overcome that by, you know, building some units or something, but it's not. It's not working for me right now. I need to think of something. What is this interesting ability? Oh, I can summon a chain gang. Fuck yeah. I didn't know I could do that. Let's do that shit right now. Is that going to work? I didn't know we'd gotten that working. So this is a new thing that we talked about doing. I didn't know it was in the game or not yet. Let's find out if it works or not. So what I was looking at was, wouldn't it be cool if some of the heroes could actually just directly summon units near the hero? We had a lot of people ask for that. And so we thought about it, and we had not done it before because the problem was, let's say I've got a hero right here, and he summons a guy right here. What happens if there's another hero here, and this hero summons someone in the same spot? And so the answer we came up with was, you can only summon somebody next to you, and you can't summon someone next to any other unit. And that would solve that problem. Now, for whatever reason, it's letting me summon somebody 2 hexes away, which I think it shouldn't do. Which is why I tried to make it do it, because I want to see whether or not it does it. I want to see if I do actually summon a guy there or not. I shouldn't be able to. I should only be able to summon a guy next to my hero. But we'll see. We'll see whether or not that happens. I'm very curious. Hey, move, people. All right, let's see what we got going on here. What is that weird aura you've got? Oh, that's my construction aura, which I shouldn't be a construction aura. All right, so you are going to walk right there. Your summon ability didn't work like it was supposed to, which makes me sad that I tried to use it and it didn't work. But that's just how it is sometimes. What are you going to do? Ooh, you can build a wall. Let's see if that works or not. I've not actually used that. I'm using a bunch of stuff. I'm not playing great, but I'm trying to use a bunch of stuff I haven't played with yet. That's my excuse for why I'm about to get my ass kicked by Shiro. Oh, it did work. I was looking somewhere else. I was looking at some other thing when that happened. I guess I missed that. But wait, I actually have my log. So let's see. Should say Guildmaster Silvio, did he? Yeah, Guildmaster Silvio activated summon Chain Gang. Chain Gang was spawned. Chain Gang was attacked Cuirassers for 4 damage. Cuirassers attacked Chain Gang for 11 damage. Yeah, I guess it did work and he died. I just didn't see it. Huh. What about that? I gotta use that stuff some more. Yeah, you thought you could come in there. Take that. Alright, so... How, can I use that again? What is the cooldown on that summon? Can I just keep summoning dudes? Because I'm gonna, if I can. Okay, so it won't let me summon him next to that guy. But it will let me summon him here. My god, I can't believe that works. That's so cool. You, shoot your guns at that guy. Alright, cool. Alright, so preparation phase. Yep, I summoned that dude. There he is. Alright, then we get to the second phase, which is, okay, nobody buffed anybody, nobody did any curses, nobody fired any weapons. Go directly to movement and combat. There's the movement. Apparently I chased that guy out of my neighborhood. You know what, I'm gonna fuck you up, Tristan. You're gonna march this way. You know what? You're going to march up and fuck that guy up is what you're going to do. You're going to move into that village there. And then I can't summon anyone else because I'm pop capped up. But that's something I can fix in time. Alright. But we got to check the refresh on those summon abilities. If I could summon a chain gang every turn, that's not right. That's wrong. Wrong, I tell you. That guy. Which is that guy? Alright, yeah, screw you, Tristan. Get off my whatever. Alright, you. Take over that homestead. Alright, militia, you're gonna go down and take that bridge. So which icon is which? So if I'm looking at a dude, the yellow thing on the left, this is, so if I look at, let me take my turn real quick, and then I'll explain everything, because I don't want to lose my turn. You, tax those assholes. You, go down there. You take that over. You, take the bridge. Alright, so there, that's what I want to do. I'm getting a bunch of bad data errors, but that's for Nelson to fix. I told you, there's a lot broken right now. So, in question of what's what, let's take a look at these guys. So, looking at this Cuirassier, the number on the left, that is his attack. The number on the right, that is his hit points. And the number in the middle, this little green number, that's his move. So, for instance, if I want to move this guy, he's only got a move of 1, which means he has 1 movement point to spend. If he were to go into that jungle, that costs 2. He can always move at least 1 hex, so he could move 1 hex into the jungle. If I were to move him along a road, the roads only use half a movement point, so you can see he can actually move up to 2. That bridge, however, has more movement points than he can expend right now, so he can't go across that bridge because that would be a full other movement point, which would be 1.5, which is more than the 1 that he has. The reason this guy's attack changed is when he starts running and attacking somebody, this guy has the charge ability, and because the charge ability gives him a +5 to attack when he moves, that 6, which is his normal attack, is actually going to turn into an 11, right? To tell you, oh, you're charging, which means your attack is going to be higher. Actually, I'm going to go right on into your base with that guy. I'm going to chase you down. Oh! I got missile weaponed. Yeah, take that, Cuirassiers. In your face! Yeah, you notice there's kind of a weird flicker thing when the effects happen. There's something going on wrong with the effects right now. I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but it's a known issue that we're fixing. There are other known issues. Alright, you're going to camp out for a little bit and get healthier. You, go take that bridge. I can summon another one of these militias. Um, what's this chain gang capable of? Chain gangs suck. Oh, you keep making money, chain gang. All right, cool. Yeah, the stuff up next to the end turn. So this is the top one, the crown. This is your control points, which is your population capacity. So right now I am using 27 of the 30 that I have. I get those by building buildings. So you'll notice, for instance, this homestead gives me 6 control points. So if I add up all my buildings, that gives me a certain number of control points. Right now I'm using 27 of 30 of them. Let's say I wanted to summon a new dude. A new dude is going to cost me a certain number of control points. I can't show you right now because my little summon thing is gone because I'm waiting for other people. In a minute I can show you that. Up here in the right, this gold, that's my gold income. So I'm making 52. I'm sorry, I have 52 right now of a possible 204. That's my cap. And then the laurels is my victory points. And you win the game by having a whole bunch of victory points. All right. What am I going to do here? Since apparently you can just keep summoning chain gangs, I'm going to have you keep doing that because that's pretty cool, actually. Seems broken. Seems like I'm summoning way too many chain gangs, and I feel bad about exploiting what is obviously not an intended feature of the game. But, you know, I'm 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 low class like that. All right, that's all my dudes. Look at that. Look at I could just sit here and spawn chain gangs. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna hang out and spawn chain gangs over and over and over again because apparently I can. I feel bad about it, but I don't feel that bad about it. Um, get in there. You heal up. You get up there until you can spawn your. Can you just really spawn another chain gang right now? I can really do that. I'm just gonna keep doing. I feel bad about it, but I'm not gonna stop. Now, on the spawning constant chain gangs thing, there's a cooldown for the abilities. And when Nelson made this ability, he didn't put any cooldown, which means the cooldown is 1. This is Nelson's fault. I will fill the world with chain gangs. All will be chain gangs. Alright, militia. Shoot him. Cuirassers, attack him. Chain gang. Hang out there. You, get up out of the way. You, take the bridge. We already took the bridge? Well, then get up here where you can shoot at things. Who have I not moved yet? You, what are you going to do? You know what? You're going to go... You're going to walk north, chain gang guy. Uh-oh, we got entangled. Oh, Shiro's using some abilities on me. Alright, now what? Okay, so you're still alive. Let's fix that problem. You can't fire yet. You... Get out of there, entangled dude. Oh, you're poisoned. That's not good. I want it. I want more units, but I'm pop capped to hell. Let's see. You get up there. You get down there where you're safe. All right. Hey, Dolly. All right, finally, I got rid of that guy. It cost me some cuirassiers, but that's just how it's going to be. I'm all right with that. All right, you're going to walk onto that. You're going to walk up there. You going to go right there. Oh, I can summon another dude now. Um, who to summon? Who to summon? I think it's got to be the healing unit. I think I need some healing in this game. See, Dolly's a man who appreciates a good beard, and I like that about him. Apparently, I can spawn chain gangs over my PopCap. Let's test this theory and find out. Here, another chain gang. Wait, I can't summon him there because that's next to another unit, so I have to summon him there. You shoot that guy. You go there. All right, you get up to where you can do some good, Hearth Witches. 24 on that Tendril Thorn. That is a tough ass bitch, isn't it? All right, you know what you need to do? You need to build some shit so we get bigger is what we need. I know I want to build this so life is cheaper. I've already got a sawmill though, and things aren't as cheap as I thought they would be. A farm, that's what I want. I want a farm. Alright, I did a little bit of damage to that Tendril Thorn, but not enough to do anything. Oh no, my dude got killed! I got artilleried. That is no bueno. Alright, Hearth Witch. You're gonna have to get out of the way, because you're in harm's way, young lady. I can build another Silvio right now, though, which I'm gonna do. You are gonna shoot that guy. Yep, that's what I got. I think I'm playing a losing game here. I think it's just a matter of time before I get my ass kicked. Because I'm just not building any... I built all economic units. Because I thought I had some time to build my economy. But the new building system has made the build your economy plan not such a great plan. You get into there where you're going to be safe. You know what? Run north. We're going to make a secondary base with you. We gotta hide. We gotta run and hide. That's our only real solution right now. A lot of bad data notes. All right, Silvio, keep going. You're our only hope, Silvio. We'll keep fighting down here to try to keep it alive, but I think I have way too many economic units is what part of my problem is. Shoot that guy. Curse that guy. Um, yeah, that's about what I got right now. Hmm. More bad data, bad data. I wonder what all that bad data is. That's concerning. Nelson! That's all you, dude. Hmm. Dude, my hearth witches got killed. All right, run for it, dude. We got to run for the hills. That's the only way we're going to survive this. Run for the hills. Maybe there's something I can do if I run down here. Maybe I can get out of this. I could summon. I feel like I'm cheating, just summoning more chain dudes. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta cheat. Sometimes that's all you got. All right. Power up, my friend. You go that way. All right. Shoot that guy. You're gonna die anyway. Shoot before it happens. Let's make more chain gangs. Bye bye, militia. I loved you most of all, militia. Alright. Shoot him. Whoa, where did that thing come from? Whoa, where did this yellow thing just suddenly appear on my... What? No! That's not right. I call shenanigans. What the stealth flying silent winged horror beast? Shenanigans! I call shenanigans! Shenanigans! All right. Secondary base made. Last hope base created. You go down. Go down and deal with that silent winged horror thing. You go find me some place to make gold and stuff. Who else is left? You. Go over there. We'll take our base back. We'll take our homestead back, damn it. Is it just me, or are yellow and red not really fighting? I gotta call shenanigans. I don't believe that they're actually involved in any serious combats with each other, which seems to me to cry out for shenanigans. I believe actual non-allied enemies would fight each other, and they're not doing that. Let's just go see who yellow and red might be. Oh my goodness, that seems to be the two non-AI players. Seem to not be fighting. That's a very interesting development, one might say. Funny that. All right. Go get them, chain gangs. You know what to do. Go be chainy. All right, you get out of there. You go down there. I need another chain gang. This thing will let me put a chain gang anywhere. I can put a chain gang there? That doesn't seem right. I'm going to do it. See if it'll work. Is it really going to let me do that? That seems wrong. That doesn't seem right at all. I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. But I'm going to see if it because if that happens, there's some broken stuff. My God, it worked! Dude. The cheating is on. Oh, the cheating. Oh, the cheating I'm going to do now. Oh, the rampant, ridiculous cheating I'm going to do now. This is not right. What I'm doing is wrong. I know it's wrong. But you know what? Double teaming me like that wasn't right either. So, you know what? I feel no guilt. No guilt at what I'm doing here. My rampant cheating. I feel no guilt. I could just make chain gangs wherever I want. I just spawn the world with chain gangs. It's actually kind of a cute power. I wonder if I could make a shitty unit and allow somebody to have that power to like be able to summon, because it works. I mean, it functions. And it won't allow me to summon someone next to. But the problem is, if I allow that, then we will have people trying to summon in the same place. So it doesn't work. Because someone else could theoretically try to summon in that same spot, and that would suck. So no, I can't make I can't make this thing an actual thing. That's not a thing I can do. And these chain gangs are so crappy. Once I made them summonable, I made them super crappy, and I think I've made them too crappy. They're just getting their asses handed to them wherever they go. Oh no, I can't shoot him because he's in the darkness. I want to shoot into the dark, and it won't let me do it. Alright, you go over here. I need to summon someone else. Alright, you take over that. I need the control points. Oh, I totally forgot about this unit that I've got down here. Next to this useless AI. I should go do something with him. I got so enraptured by my cheating, I forgot that there was actual fair gameplay that I could have gotten involved in. Alright, more bad datas, more bad datas. Nelson! Oh no, it's one of those guys. All right. I think we can all agree I have officially lost at this point. There's no the only thing I'm doing at this point is just hanging in there by blatantly cheating. And that's not at some point I got to quit doing that. At some point I can't just sit here and spam cheat until they have to kill all of me. It's not fair. If I weren't cheating, I would have died by now. So I think there's some major balance issues that have been introduced by our change, but that was expected. That's fine. As Colgan says, I lost this half an hour ago. That's true. And it's 1:30, and I started streaming at 11, which means this is the longest stream I've done in a really, really long time. Look at me streaming 2 hours like a real live streamer. Wow. I know people who actually stream are like, dude, and you stream like 2 hours. It's like nothing. I stream like 8 hours every day. I know. That's how it is. But for me, a 2 hour stream is, I got shit to do, man. This is all the streaming I'm going to do for today because I actually have a whole bunch of work that I need to do. Stream more Igor Meets Boombucks. What I will do, however, is, let me check my calendar. I see no compelling reason why I can't stream next week. I think I'm going to move on to a weekly stream. I think we've got enough data and enough going on that I can do. The reason why I did this, by the way, I have a calendar over here. That's what I was looking at the calendar that's over there. I think I'm going to do a stream next week. I think I got to move to a weekly stream. It's time. I know Monica. I don't know if Monica's happy about that or sad about that. I don't know if that's good or bad in Monica's world, but it's time. It's time to move back to a weekly stream. We got enough going on. I need to hype up stuff. And also, I'm going to be... There's like a big hunk right around Christmas where I'm not going to be particularly available because I'm going back to Nepal again. So there's going to be like the big 2 weeks where I'm not here. So I'm going to get in some weekly streams now before I have to go away. Thanks, Colgan. Colgan's like, hey, weekly stream. See you in 4 weeks. Yeah, I know. It's bad like that. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to stream next week. For all you guys who are here and checking out the stream, thanks for being here. Paj, if you're still here, dude, stream again. For everyone else, and Colgan, keep streaming. It's actually a good stream you got going. So for everyone, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for supporting the game. Come hang out in the Discord. Do the things you got to do to be part of our earlier access. And I'll see you guys next week. Let's see. There's